we live?
We are live.
We're live. Boy, that sounded like we were live. We sounded like we were
dead.
We were dead flatliners here. Is there enough juice on that battery? Do we need to plug it in?
It's nuts. It's all fully charged.
Oh, right. Well, a little light conversation. So what's happening, Martin, in the saga of your life?
Who the heaven knows, man? We still don't have a CO. We've
Well, that
had
was promised to you last week, remember?
seeing is believing. A million inspections, everything approved, and by the way, the inspectors have been very nice and they see how beautiful it is. I still don't have the frickin' CO in my hand, but that's it. I had dance lessons this morning, which is pretty comical.
So what do you do? Gain a left and a right foot now?
Well, yeah, and we started working on the Peabody. I got the tango pretty much down in the merengue. I have two more, a foxtrot. Yeah, I'm getting there, but I tell you what, it's killing me that I can't tell anybody what we're really doing because I don't want the competitors to know.
Okay.
So it's going to be
that's not you.
It's hard that everything is going to be everything.
Yeah. Now, what happens if you guys win this round? Do you move on?
So everybody's in every round. So each dance is brought down to 1 minute and 30 seconds, so there's 6 dances. So the first 2 shows are recorded. The third show in September is live. It'll be televised. And you can win for raising the most money for your charity. You can win because you dance the best. You can win congeniality, like who knows. But I'm really pumped.
It's going to be televised.
I can't wait
The
to see
revolution.
it.
Will
My finale is going to be epic. So I'm telling you.
That would be great. You win some money for Wings and Wishes. You keep putting out all these Wings and Wishes.
We
and not
need
getting the
it.
income.
We need it. Believe
Yeah.
me. What about you guys?
You haven't called me to ask to help with your finale, so it's not going to be epic enough.
Listen, you know they say white man can't jump. This black man can't dance.
I dance better than you. Are you kidding me?
Anyway.
What, man? PB, you see,
You can dance.
PB,
I watch it.
thank you.
Yeah.
I was dancing
You
around.
got that from your grandmother.
That's it. Yes, I did. Yes, I
Dancer,
did.
baby.
Yup. But you know who was a dancer though?
Who?
James. He was a dancer.
Your dad?
My grandpa.
Oh, your grandpa.
Yeah, he was a dancer. Yeah, he was.
He walked down that church aisle like
I
George
remember.
Jefferson,
He
but
had-
taller.
He had those tails on his suits, man. He made TD Jakes look like an Amish person.
He sure did.
I'll never forget it. I told you about how your grandma, when they come over and look at his clothes.
Right, oh yeah,
Remember?
bad.
Yeah, that was so. I have to tell everybody. So when your grandpa passed, Cheryl says, "Why don't you come over and see if there's anything in this closet you want?" And I'm going through this. I look at all of it, and it was really. You could have worn some of
Purple trench coats.
sparkles, and whatever those things are.
Black
they
man
put-
dress.
Yes, and I'm looking in there, and I just said to Cheryl, I can't wear any of this. I'm white. And she looked at me and she laughed and she knew what I was saying.
Yeah.
She said, "Well, look at his ties." And there was this one tie that I loved, and I wear it for every funeral. And people always say to me, "I love that tie. Where'd you get it?" I said, "From a dead man."
Welcome to Hijack Life Live,
Yeah, we're live.
where we believe that God rescues the dreams that have been shattered by the cruelties and injustices of life, aka we are the other view.
So PB,
God,
what's
nothing's too hard for God.
No.
He can rescue dreams that the
Yup.
world is shattered.
We're going to talk about that today.
Oh, yeah, we
right?
are, yeah.
So what's our subject for today then?
Well, we're going to talk about, will there be peace in the Middle East? That's our subject.
So I guess with all that's going on in the media right now, PB, I guess that's why you selected today's topic.
Kind of. Martin texted me early in the morning with this phone call.
Mm-hmm.
And it was President Trump, frustrated, angry, dropping the F-bomb.
I told someone, I said,
two stupid countries. He says, "Baby, look, you got to look at this. You got to look at this." He's calling me on the phone, and I go, and he did it on purpose.
oh, of course he did. He's frustrated. But
He
listen,
says you got 2 countries that have been fighting long and hard, and neither one of them know what the they're doing. I mean, it wasn't beef.
So look, right? So I come into the office, right? I'm messing with Pastor Ron. I said, Pastor Ron, I said, do you know what Trump said today on national television? And I said, and Pastor Ron was like, man, that's got to be a frustrating job right now. And I said, I said, Pastor Ron, he dropped the F-bomb on national television, and Pastor Ron starts laughing. And Pastor Ron just keeps laughing. I'm like, Pastor Ron, I'm serious. He goes, no, you're not. I'm like, I pull up my phone, and Pastor Ron's just dumbfounded. He's like,
I played
no
that
way.
clip so many times it killed my battery in about a half hour.
I said, this is the greatest moment. And then, I'm not sure if you saw, but I think it was last night, the White House posted, an Instagram posted, he went to the NATO meeting, and they played the song Daddy's Home by Usher, and it was like, Daddy's Home, oh, for it. Like, one of those things, and it's Trump getting out of, like the Air Force One, and it's like, Daddy's home. He's like,
Well, you know, he did that on purpose.
Of course he did.
Didn't have to drop the F-bomb, but I mean, and it went viral in what, 20 seconds? Yeah.
He said, they don't know what they're doing. I said, man, I was telling someone, I said, I was the president of Bell State. I said, and that's how I felt every day. I said, this guy's running the country.
So anyway, tell us a little bit about the clip itself, Martin.
So he's just frustrated.
When was the day?
2 days ago.
Tuesday.
Yeah, so he thought, and I don't know why he thought, but he thought that he was going to put together this peace treaty, whatever you want to call it, ceasefire. But you can't trust these people. You can't trust them, right? So he trusted that that was going to happen, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
So over the weekend, President Trump helped negotiate a ceasefire between Israel and Iran. The markets responded with the Dow, S&P, and the NASDAQ jumping hundreds of points. Hope was in the atmosphere.
Yeah, you know, I listened to the news coming in today. It's still up. It went up again.
Well,
So
on Monday, the truth was broken. When asked about the broken truth, Trump responded, we basically have two countries that have been fighting for so long and so hard that they don't know what they're doing. The F-bomb was intentional. General Michael Flynn, who served as National Secretary Advisor during Trump's first term, posted this...
Security advisor.
Security advisor. On X. Sometimes the best bomb to drop is the F-bomb, and then everyone knows how you truly feel. Well, if that's the case, then all of Washington Township knows how I feel.
Oh, did he just admit he dropped the F-bomb?
More than once.
Oh, my gracious.
How many times have I called you and said, I have to tell you something before you hear it from somebody else? I lose my
I'm
land.
sorry. I'm going to be really hard for me to get to this program because that Trump video has been it's the greatest video of 2025. I'm telling you.
Hey,
I'm sorry.
We should have an opening. You dropped the bomb on me, baby. You dropped the bomb on me. You turned me on.
He said you have two countries that have been fighting for so long that they don't know what they're doing.
And I wanted to say, you should know the peace treaty wasn't the last anyway, President.
There will never
the
be
Bible.
peace. Never be peace.
I knew it wasn't going to.
That's what I said to Martin. I said, Martin, listen, there'll never be peace in the Middle East until Jesus returns. He wrote a post which I shared with that comment, and here's what it said. You are right, Martin. There will never be peace in the Middle East. Here's Trump dropping his F-bomb. Until Jesus comes and sets up his kingdom. The Bible says of Ishmael that he will be at war with his brothers
always.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I said it. And so, what are we basing that statement on?
Well, let's go to Genesis.
Before we do this, I made a post just like this earlier this week. And all I said was, we have to understand that this Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and even with the Iranian thing, it is deeply rooted in biblical prophecy.
Correct.
And we can't get around that. So, we can have opinions. We can talk about Democrat, Republican. This it doesn't matter. What God foretold is what God foretold.
And we're about to read it in Genesis 16:12.
Yeah.
So the passage is found in Genesis 16:12. Here's how it's typically translated in various versions. The NIV.
I would suggest we only, because this is pretty long.
Let's just do the one.
Just do the highlight.
Yeah. So NIV. He will be a wild donkey of a man. His hand will be against everyone, and everyone's hand against him, and he will live in hostility toward all his brothers.
Read New American Standard. It's good.
But he will be a wild donkey of a man. His hand will be against everyone, and everyone's hand will be against him, and he will live to the east of all his brothers.
King James, last one. You got to read it.
And he will be a wild man. His hand will be against every man, and every man's hand against him, and he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren. Well, that don't tell you they'll be fighting until Christ comes. I don't know what will.
Yes. So anyway, the context here is that the angel of the Lord appears to Hagar, who is running from Sarah, but Sarai. Because what happens is, well, it's really good. We should really read
So what's the setting?
So Sarai, Abram's wife, bore him no children.
Right.
Right. So Sarah, even though God promised them a child, Sarah thinks she's going to help God out.
Mm-hmm.
We do that all the time.
Yeah.
So she makes a suggestion to Abraham. Hey, listen, why don't you sleep with my handmaiden, and then the child will be ours, right? She said, the Lord's preventing me from having a child. So Abraham didn't say no. This is a beautiful Egyptian handmaiden, probably half the age of Sarah, maybe a third the age of
Probably
Sarah.
a third.
Yeah. So he goes into Hagar, and she conceived. But when she saw she had conceived, she looked on her mistress with contempt.
That would happen today.
Sure, it would. So then Sarai dealt harshly with her, and she ran away from home. And the angel of the Lord found her by a spring of water in the wilderness. And the angel of the Lord said, I'm really editing this, said to her, return to your mistress and submit to her. So the angel of the Lord also said to her, I will so greatly multiply your offspring that they cannot be counted for multitude. And the angel of the Lord said to her, you have now conceived and bear a child. And this is what you read. You shall call his name Ishmael, for the Lord has given heed to your affliction. That's what Ishmael means. Mm-hmm. God has heard or seen your affliction. And he shall be a wild ass of a man, with his hand against everyone, and everyone's hand against him. And he shall live, here it is, at odds with all of his kin.
This is all I said.
So she named the Lord who spoke to her, you are El Roi, which means what it was. And then Hagar bore Abraham a son, and Abraham named his son Hagar, or Hagar bore Ishmael. And Abraham was 86 years old when Hagar bore him Ishmael.
So what you're saying is that because of Ishmael, we live in hostility. You're saying that because Ishmael will live in hostility with his brothers, all of Abraham's children, there will never be peace for any length of time in the Middle East.
That is what I'm saying. That it's not what I'm saying. That's correct. It's not what Martin's saying. It's not what whoever says.
Yeah.
It's what God said. And God sees the beginning, the end, and he says there'll never be peace. We could have moments of peace. But on the whole, they're going to live at contention, at hostility with one another until Jesus comes back.
So let's talk about Ishmael's descendants.
Yeah. Well, what we don't know is, remember, Abraham ultimately has 12 sons. There's Jacob and there's 12 sons, right? Do you know Ishmael had 12 sons?
I did not.
Yeah, now the Bible lists them. Can you do this Egyptian stuff or whatever? Can you say those names?
That's not Egyptian.
It's what, Neoboth, Kedar,
Neoboth, Kedar,
Adbeel,
Mibzam,
Mishma, Duma, Masa,
You all sound like a bunch of
Kedah,
Hadad, Tema, Jatur, Napish, and Kadima.
Well, he had 12 kids. The descendants became known as Arabs, which basically means nomads.
But it's crazy how Isaac had 12 tribes, right? But it's crazy how 12 tribes comes from.
Yeah, and
Isaac.
12 and 12.
Yeah.
So they're both Abraham's children, and God blesses both of them.
Yes.
Right?
But one was born in the flesh,
and one was born in the by the Spirit.
Right.
Yeah, right. And so the descendants of Ishmael became known as Arabs, which basically means nomads. And from the beginning, the descendants of Ishmael were a warlike people. They lived in hostility towards all the tribes related to them. They fulfilled God's earlier word that Ishmael would be what we have read about. And later, others settled in the Arabian Peninsula as well, including the descendants of Keturah. That was his second wife, not including Hagar. and some of Esau's descendants. Now, this is what's really fascinating. We always link Islam with Ishmael, right?
Mm-hmm.
But look at this.
So there's a popular theory common among Muslims and some Christians that Arabian Muslims are direct descendants of Ishmael. In fact, Muhammad was a major proponent of this idea, claiming to be a descendant of Ishmael, according to the Quran. There is most likely some truth to this theory. However, although some modern Arabs could trace their lineage back to Ishmael, not all Arabs are descendants of Ishmael, as Muslims try to claim. We know from the Bible that God made Ishmael into a great nation. His descendants can share in the blessings of Abraham by putting their faith in Jesus Christ for salvation.
Yeah, and I would have to say that if the Lord met Hagar in the wilderness, gave her a promise, fulfilled the promise, that we have no record that she didn't believe that the Lord God was the Lord God.
Right.
You know what I mean? But the Muslims try and claim that no, Allah was that their descendants were. Well, when was Muhammad anyway?
After Christ.
Way after.
Way after.
So I just thought that was interesting.
So
because we always think, oh, Islam goes back to Hagar and Ishmael. It doesn't.
No.
What hurts so much, people, before I even read this part, is like when I share my post, people were quick to say, so you support genocide. You support innocent women and children. You support Zionists and all that. I said, how? All I said was, we have no control over what God is establishing within prophecy. Well, so you're telling me that it's God's will for innocent women and children to die. I said, you're looking at the casualties of war as a humanitarian. I said, the Bible's barbaric. And I said, so you have to look at a war that's been going on that's recorded in the Bible as barbaric. It's still going to be barbaric in 2025.
Yeah, what we don't see is we don't see these people as enemies that God does. Like for instance, in my reading today, I read about Elijah on Mount Carmel. He calls all these 850 prophets, 450 of Baal, 450 of Ashtoreth, and he puts them in this place. You know this story. And he builds this altar, and he says, okay, if your God's the real God, call on him. Let him send fire down from heaven. And they dance from morning all the way to the evening sacrifice. Nothing. So Elijah calls upon his God. God sends fire down from heaven, destroys the altar. All of Israel bows before the real true God. And Elijah takes all 850 prophets, and it said he slaughtered them in the valley.
Wow.
All 850. Why? They were enemies to God.
Yeah.
And I think we forget that in the Old Testament, when God utterly destroyed babies, infants, everything that bleeds,
all
animals,
mankind.
And that's what you say.
they were enemies to God.
Yeah, I said, I'm not
These
saying
people
that I
are
support
enemies to God.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that I support genocide. What you're saying is I don't have control over what God is saying.
And our thoughts are not his
And our thoughts are not
his
his ways. So, Pete, in your social media post, you said there were exceptions to no peace in the Middle East. So, what are those exceptions?
Well, the obvious one was when Christ comes back, right? That's going to be. But there's another one, and that's when the Antichrist is accepted by the whole world. And I think that AI is a part of that system. It's a satanic trinity. And I think AI is part of that satanic trinity. There's the beast.
Yeah.
There's the dragon.
I can see that.
And then there's the man of lawlessness. And I think one of these, maybe the beast, is the beast, AI. And that it's going to deceive. That's how he's going to deceive the world.
I wouldn't be surprised. People are using AI as their friend, as their counselor, as their mentor.
I mean, look,
Bananas.
he could make an image. It'd be totally fake and everybody believe in that image. And for 3.5 years we have this peace. But then this man of lawlessness says, worship me. Now everybody says it desecrates the temple. Well, who's the temple? You, me.
I'm about to say, we're a temple.
It's not a physical temple that everybody thinks.
Yeah.
God's not going to go back to offering sacrifices when Jesus was the lamb.
The body,
Come on, get with
the body
it.
is the temple.
So this 3.5 years, we have this peace. But then when he says worship me, every one of us who have him within us, that desecrates our temple.
Yeah.
And we say we're not worshiping him. And then then all hell breaks loose, like we've never seen before on the planet.
Yeah.
You know.
I think it's
So-
going to get a lot worse before that.
Yeah, and I think we'll save that to next week. We're going to go into that next week because we're right here, so we might as well look at what happens, and then how God eventually will pour out His wrath on the earth. After literally so many people died for the name of Christ that John said, I couldn't even count them. They were countless. But their blood cried out, how long until you justify our death? Isn't that interesting?
It is. I checked. There's no 100 and some people watching, but no.
Wow, you have that many on live?
147.
Yeah, well, that's pretty good. Anyway,
All right,
I
well-
guess we were so mesmerized.
Make sure you share the F-bomb today. I mean, share the whatever
Yeah,
you want.
for a fabulous guy.
There you go. If you'd like a copy of today's script, let PB know, and he'll get that for you. Don't forget our website is hijacklife.org. What is happening this weekend at the Gloucester County Community Church?
The pulpit continues the message of Colossians.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we have 3 Hijack Life t-shirts that are available for purchase. One of them says, live for Jesus, and the back says, even a bad day will be a good day. One of them says, why are you telling me that? And the back says, stop gossip. My favorite, he has one right now, make life count on the front, and the back says, stop bitching, start blessing.
Amen.
Why do you get so quiet every time I say that, Semaj?
Because Pastor Blake told me fire him and he says it, so.
I tell Pastor Blake to stop bitching.
Yeah, that's what I would
Hey, ready? Let's give him a blessing. 1, 2, 3.
Live for Jesus, and even a bad day will.
Why do you
Why do I
guys
say that? That's me.
No.
Oh, not him. Go ahead, do it again.
1,
And I say it to
2,
my grandkids every
3.
day.
Live for Jesus, and even a bad day will be a good day.
Love you guys.
Peace and hair grease.
Yeah.
Not in the Middle East.